Hi, I'm Chris Martirano with American Music and Sound, here with our friends at Kraft Music. It's my pleasure to show you the Nord Electro 4D. The Nord Electro 4D is the latest in the evolution of the Electro line. Be sure you check out Kraft Music for the great bundles. They put together a great package with the Nord, travel bag, assortment of control pedals, stand, all the things you need to complete your setup. What's unique to the Nord Electro 4D? Drawbars. This is a major feature for your organists who want to grab handfuls of drawbars and move them in real time. They greatly improve the organ models, including great new authentic key click, great percussion, a new rotary speaker emulation based on the famous 122 with different mic settings. And then they increased also the sample library, which now includes a lot of the vintage analog synthesizers that you're very familiar with, and a lot of new instruments in general. There's three particular sections to the Nord Electro. You have the organ section, you have this beautiful electroacoustic piano section featuring electric pianos, acoustic pianos, clavinets, and then you have this great sample player that'll play back from their sample library. Users will love that they can put their own samples in here as well using the computer editor. So we'll go through these sections one at a time. Let's dig right into the organ models. You have three specific organ models. You have a Vox Continental, a Farfisa, and of course the tone wheel organ. We're going to start with the tone wheel organ first. The drawbars are a great addition. Allowing that immediacy to the change. They improved the key click a lot, which we'll be able to hear just by me playing a couple of notes. Each note is different and unique with the click. This in a real organ was created by 9 different wires touching a bus bar, essentially creating what's known as a DC offset. They modeled it very faithfully. They have all of the various controls that you would find on a standard tone wheel organ, the vibrato chorus section, featuring also the vibrato settings, percussion, They also allow you to split the organ, which is really nice. With a quick touch of a button, I can have a separate drawbar setting for the left. I'll just use the first 3 drawbars as my bass. And on the right, I'll use percussion and vibrato. It's a great handy feature if you're a single player and you're just going out having a great time playing some organ stuff. Also, in the organ model, they increased this overdrive, which is really great, gives you a beautiful kind of a distortion. Up to the absurd amount. I'm controlling the rotary from a foot switch, which is great. Keep my hands on the keyboard is always fun. I'm going to move on now and show you a little bit of the next organ model. This is the Vox Continental. Okay, on the original Vox Continental, the last two drawbars, it was a drawbar organ as well, and the last two drawbars, one of them controlled the bass content and one of them controlled the treble content. And this is faithful. These last two drawbars would be essentially bass and treble, and then the drawbars work as you would expect to add content. Right now we have it in the rotary speaker, but we can take it out of the rotary and put it into a modeled amplifier. If I want less treble, if I want a really bright, buzzy organ, I can turn the bass down just from the single drawbar. So again, they faithfully replicated the user interface. There's also the standard vibrato that you would hear. So really great stuff. We'll take a look at the Farfisa model next. On the Farfisa, it had rocker switches that controlled the various timbres that you could blend. They've achieved that using the drawbars as essentially on and off switches. So halfway up, the drawbar essentially would be in the off position for the rocker switch. All the way towards you, the rocker switch would then be on. So if I push all the drawbars away from me, the sound would be off, and I can toggle the various tones. Again, they faithfully modeled the vibrato circuitry, which sounds really great. You can put it into a variety. You have two different modeled amplifiers, or you have the rotary speaker, giving you a great complement of amplification for the Farfisa. When Nord delivered their first sampled piano, they really raised a lot of eyebrows. They did a fantastic job on the recordings of the instruments. We're going to focus now on the piano section that features electroacoustic instruments as well as acoustic instruments. So we'll start with the grand piano. They have an extensive library online, free to the user, that you can download. You have up to 185 megabytes of memory in the piano section, dedicated just to pianos, electric pianos, clavinets, so the user can configure the sounds they'd like in their instrument in this section. I'm going to demonstrate the Lady D, which is modeled after a certain German brand grand piano. One thing Nord really got right is this string resonance. When you step on the pedal, you hear the whole enclosure resonating. They also gave you this option where you can increase the note release time. So as I hit a note, we can hear the release is very short. By putting on long release, the notes are going to ring longer. This simulates an older piano where the dampers might not be as tight as on a newer instrument, which is very nice for certain kinds of playing. They also gave me, in this instrument loaded from the factory, 3 different piano models. So this next piano is based on a brighter piano, maybe from the Asian culture. Great instrument. Right now I have a very small stage setting on it for the DSP, but you can select a hall or a room or delays, whatever you like. Next we'll listen to the CP70 recording. Really great. And I'm going to just turn on chorus. It's as easy as press a single button User interface, everything is on the panel. You're not hunting through any menus. Put it in the larger room. Increase the chorus depth. I'm going to put on a little EQ, brighten it up. I have a sweepable mid-band, take a little bass out of it. Really, everything's on the panel, exactly what you'd want to dress up any of these instruments. Really, really well thought out interface. Nord has earned a great reputation, especially in the area of electroacoustic instruments. These are based on the Tyne electric pianos and the Reed electric pianos that are used on many, many recordings, and to this day are now being used even with virtual instruments. These are excellent sounds. This is a Tyne electric piano. There are 6 loaded into here from the factory, but on their library there are many more. You can choose which ones you like. Chorusing on, I'll just shut it off so you can hear the dry instrument. Very dynamic as I play louder. This is just one model I'm showing you. If I put a little EQ on it, you can hear what a difference you can make just through EQ. And I'll put a little bit of the panner on, which you would normally hear in the stereo panning. Great, chorusing, flanging. I'll just put the traditional phaser on, and you'll get a little sense of the sound that made famous by a certain group in the 70s. We're going to jump right from there into the Reed electric piano. I'm going to put a tremolo on that, as that was the effect that came on the instrument. Turn the tremolo up a little more. A little chorusing. Change the EQ. We'll jump right into clav. In the clavinet, the model they used had 4 rocker switches. They faithfully represent all of them, calling them A, B, C, and D, and you can get a myriad of timbres out of it just through the selection of A, B, C, and D, but then they have 2 buttons that further allow you to modify the sound. And I'll just be using some of the controls to change the sound as I play. That's one of the rocker switches. Now we'll go to rocker switch B. Rocker switch C. And I'll put a little bit of a triggered envelope called auto wah. I'll put a flanger on it as well. There's every kind of clav timbre you could ever want you can achieve with this instrument. Just through the use of the EQs, the rocker switches, the ability to move the pickup position basically is what this top switch is doing. You can get every kind of clav you've ever heard. So this covers the electromechanical instrument section. There are also harpsichords, which I won't be demonstrating right now, but they're beautiful. There's 3 of them. And you have, again, with their library, the ability to decide if you really want all of these various instruments, or if you want more acoustic pianos, or you want more electric pianos. You decide. You have 185 megabytes. You fill it the way that you choose. The Nord Electro 4D gives you 85 megabytes that you can load specifically from their sample library of samples other than pianos and electric pianos, things of that nature. They have their own dedicated memory. So they come right from the factory with a huge assortment of Mellotron and Chamberlin recordings. I'm just going to go through and show a handful of the recordings, but what they did that's really interesting that gave you a lot more flexibility out of the sounds is they gave you the ability to change the envelope. Now, on a tape-based machine such as a Mellotron or a Chamberlin, you were just pressing a tape against a playback head, so you were just getting whatever that initial contact was. There was no envelope. There was no way to have the attack be slower or the release be longer. So a lot of people would use tape delays, or they would use reverbs to try to get a longer tail. But at any rate, I'll demonstrate how you can modify the envelope shape. So here's a Chamberlin string sound. So now I'm going to dress this up. I'm going to put a longer release on it. And I'm going to put a little bit of a delay on it. Rather than using a reverb, I'll go for a delay. So this is just one of the string sounds. There's a variety of sounds, as I said, built in. Different string sounds. We'll turn off the delay. Again, you have the full complement of effects, so if I choose to put chorusing on that flute sound, I could have it pan. So you can see there's a very wide variety of sounds: strings, flute, marimba, vibes, there's harp, there's choirs. There's a really great selection of sounds in the instrument. But then you can go to Nord's site. There's a ton of other sounds up there. And the user can make their own key maps and make their own recordings and load them in. They load in as .wav files, and using a computer editor that Nord provides, you can map them out across the keyboard, make a program, and through USB dump it into the instrument. This is a great instrument for anybody who wants to perform live, who wants immediate access to the effects and to the controls that they want. Nord Electro 4D, a really dynamite package featuring awesome organ with very authentic controls, great electroacoustic pianos, beautiful sample library, user ability to load their own recordings into the instrument, huge library online free to the user, great effects, instant access to the front panel. There's also a lot of parameters the user can adjust. For example, if you have different pedals you already own, you can adjust which types of pedals, whether they're a brand A or brand B, they'll work. You have a lot of control over the organ. They had 3 different vintage tone wheel organs. You can pick which model you like. You can pick the key click type of level. You can pick things like key bounce, whether it fires artificially when the note fires quickly. High or low strike of the key will trigger the note to sound, and a lot of other things. The rotary speaker, the ramp time, the balance between the level of the horn and the rotor, et cetera, et cetera. Nord did a really great job in putting everything into a very compact package. The Nord Electro 4D is an awesome instrument featuring really world-class sounds, easy to use interface, very lightweight. Tuck it under your arm, show up at any gig and sound like $1,000,000. Once again, I'm Chris Martirano. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our friends at Kraft Music. Be sure to check out their great bundles and talk to their product specialists about more information on Nord products.